Hi, it's Nancy with Garden Scroll, and the daylilies have been blooming every day, a new one. And also I wanted to say we're cleaning up from the storms. We had some straight winds, not tornadoes, thank goodness, but this came down. Oh, I just saw a little crack in it there too. I didn't know it broke, but my husband fixed this back for me, and I put her back up there, and she looks great. And so we're cleaning up and getting things back in order from the storm. And also, I was going to say, don't forget to look around for sales. It's the ending, people are closing down their nurseries, and you can get some really good sales right now. So I got this beautiful little, well, it's not blooming right now, is it? Or is it? It was when I got it. It had a bloom, but I guess it doesn't have a bloom. But it's got a pretty apricot bloom on this. This is a double flowering hibiscus, annual hibiscus. Got it for $5.88. So you can find some good sales right now if you're not so sick of planting that you just can't do it again, which I've about to feel that way, but not really, because you see a pretty plant and you get all inspired again. And I'm going to walk down here and show you this one daylily. Put this old one off first, but look at this. Can you get a close-up of that? Wait just a minute, it's got a bug in there. I hate those old bloom bugs. Gonna try to eat that beautiful bloom off. So this is some of the beauty we're seeing in the garden, and hope you're enjoying it with us. Today is the last day of spring, the last day of the probably most wonderful spring I've had. And my lens is fogging up. Just a minute, let's see if I can clear some of that off. So it may just fog right up again, but I watered just the front. I haven't watered the back. I may wait until later on this evening because it is hot. Matter of fact, I was going to say this may be our first really hot day too, but look at this. I noticed that this little up against this little bird feeder, can you see through it there and see that it's got a dark purple salvia and that pretty lime green bells of Ireland growing up there together. Isn't that cute how it did that? So I'm going to try again. It just keeps fogging up because it was inside, and it's so hot out here and it's cooler inside, thank goodness. But that's what I wanted you to see, how pretty that purple and green are together and how they just grew up together there. Also, I gave the garden its first haircut. I thinned stuff out, not anything in the front. No, that's where I am now in the front. But I did thin out the back quite a bit. I pulled up a bunch of the old hollyhocks that were looking ratty after the rain and fallen over. And I pulled up quite a few of the larkspur because I know they were going to put down so many seeds we would have nothing but larkspur. Not that I'm against larkspur. Here's some of it right here, this pretty blue. And have a little bit of pink and a little bit of white also. But we actually got another 4/10 inch of rain. After I cleaned out everything, I needed to water in the back. I need to water everywhere, but I cleaned out the back. And I didn't have time to water, but luckily I did the right thing that time instead of watering and cleaning it out, because God watered for me that night, and now I have a cleaner backyard. And the front's not too terribly bad yet, but I'm sure it could use a little help too, a little bit of haircut here and there. And it does need the hollyhocks taken out of it too. There was one all leaned over. I was still cleaning up a little bit from the oh look, here's a black elephant ear caladium coming up there that I cleaned out a little bit from the storm still. That I keep finding little things. Actually, right there's a limb laying there that I missed, but this little hollyhock back here was laid over, totally laid over, but I used that stake and put it back up just because that brilliant red. I thought I would save it for a little bit longer and probably save a few seeds from that before I go ahead and chop it down, which you can see why I would chop it down, because it does have these I don't know what this is called. It is a disease that's that gets on hollyhock leaves, their foliage, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it but just cut it down. So that's what I will end up doing. But right now I'm just going to enjoy it a little bit longer. I see so much I want to tell you when I'm watering in close up and can see everything that's going on. But then I forget when I get the camera out and just going a little bit at a time and not remembering everything. But there's so much beauty, and I'm going to take you around a little bit and see if I can remember any of it. Look at this Loyalist hosta. I've been trying to get those started since I first put hostas out here, and this is the first time I've got one this big and pretty. And I have another on the other end down there, which is not nearly this big, but it's alive. In my experience, if you can keep something alive, it'll eventually take a growth spurt and go right on up there. This lime green coleus, I'm going to need to clip it back. I'll probably try to wait for a rainy day where maybe it'll be a little cooler and I can transplant that somewhere where I have a hole, or at least a little bit of room to put another plant in, that it's going to just take over the pot there, and I don't want it to do that. Even though I really like it, there's just a lot of other stuff there I like too that I want to be able to see. I love these little soft double petunias, soft pink. Even though they're so pale, they still have a presence about them that you just can't miss them. The impatiens are still filling out the strawberry pot wonderfully. I think I finally found what I wanted in my strawberry pot. I've tried so many things and they've all just been okay, but this time I think that's just a little bit more than just okay. And these little black caladiums are really growing. They always catch my eye. And this is another little on sale plant that I got. It's one of the calanchos, and this is another succulent over here on the other side. And of course they're house plants, so I'll need to take them in. And I've told you I'm not good with houseplants, but I am getting a little bit better. I'm sure that what I was doing is overwatering, but even at that, they still probably need more light than I can get to them with what I've got. This poor little thing here is still so beautiful, but it's so scraggly. That's how it looks down there closer to the root, and I wish it would just fill out and do gorgeous. I always wish that about my calabrachoas, and I always struggle to get them that way, but I'm going to learn. I'm going to figure it out, Lord willing. I wanted to come over here one more time because I wanted to show you that where I planted my seeds, I've got little tiny seedlings coming up. So I'm really glad about that because I waited so long to do it this year. I doubt if I can get it for you, but I just saw a big old yellow and black swallowtail butterfly. Oh, I wish I could have got that on here for you, but I know I can. It went behind these lilac bushes of my neighbors. So, but if it comes back, I'll try again. think I'm going to go over here and get that one little daylily that my husband got for you earlier. He didn't get quite as close on it as I wanted him to. So I'm going to go back over there and see if I can get a little bit more of a close-up of it for you. Looks like I see why he didn't, because if you get close enough, you don't get the whole thing in there. So, but it's so pretty. The bee balm is beginning to bloom. This is Jacob Klein Monarda. I was looking at the petunias because they're so pretty, and then I noticed that I've got a tiny little bloom on my mum. Time just doesn't stop for us, does it? It's zooming right along. The end of spring, the beginning of summer, and it will be fall before you know it. These little bracts are beginning to turn purple on the, oh, now I forgot what this was, oregano, I believe. Trailing oregano. There, good for me. There's a sign to tell me. I tucked it back in there, but yes, it is oregano. Thought it might be, but I also forgot. This pretty red impatiens was catching my eye this morning. And this little plant, I think it's called a purple prince, maybe purple something. It's got a velvet color, and then it has a little purple hair so thick that it looks the plant looks purple, which is not doing so much that right now. But I clipped it off because I read about it, and you need to save one because they only live every 2 years, so you need to get a start. So you'll have one for the following year. That my little start, where I clipped it off, died. And I thought this one was looking terribly scraggly, but now look at all those new little leaves coming on. So that's wonderful. There's the last little lone lily, and it's just as pretty as the first. But they'll soon all be gone for this season. Well, I tried to get that butterfly again for you. I don't know if you even saw it at all, but it was flying around, but it wouldn't be still enough for me to actually get a good picture of it at all. This little licorice plant's going to town for me. It looks so good. I love this soft mint green color. And look at this henna coleus in the sunlight. Isn't that pretty? This is one of the things I was going to point out that I almost forgot, but this is a pineapple lily and it's beginning to make its little green bloom. So mostly what I did here in the back was just go down my pathways and clear out any overgrowth that had grown up where I couldn't walk through very well, and all the things that the winds and rains had taken down. Fixing to have a bunch of lilies right here on this stalk, and I staked it up too, as well as this one over here. I did stake it up, but it's still so tall that it's all leaned over, but isn't that pretty? And I just walk out the back gate and that scent just comes wafting over and it smells so nice. So I'm going to go inside for a little while because it's like 90 or 91 degrees in the shade and it's a little too warm for this lady, although I've been known to be out there at much hotter temperatures for much longer periods of time. It's about 7:45 in the evening now, and I just finished up watering in the back. The temperature is down quite a bit. Well, it's about 85 now, I think. So it's still warm, but it's nice. It's very pleasant, actually. So I thought it would be a good time to come outside and go around and get the last of the daylilies, because we know they won't be here tomorrow. But then again, we'll have all new ones showing up tomorrow. The garden and I had guests today also. Our friends from church, Aaron and Dee Dee, stopped by. And we enjoyed a visit in the garden, but she did come, or they did come, when the temperature was 90 and felt like it was 100 for real. So it was very hot. You gotta love gardening or flowers or nature or something to come in that kind of heat and enjoy it. But we did. Of course, some of the daylilies are also looking a little puny for having been just watered and gotten wet and having most of their day already spent, but they're still pretty. I redid this bottom part of this little double container and put my daylilies. They had sunken down in quite a bit and the dirt was out of there some, so I filled it back up, and I think it's, if they will bloom for me again, I think that's going to be pretty. And then there's not much in here right now, or there is, but it's all little seeds. Look at this though, they are coming up, so That's exciting. I really thought maybe I put this little sprig of a geranium, uh, chrysanthemum in here, and I thought it would fill out, but it's just kind of sitting there as one little sprig, so we'll see what will happen with that. Another beautiful daylily in red. The sweet pea blooms are looking good. These pretty pink blooms. The lovely Victorian blue salvia. The oranges and lemons gaillardia right here, and then coming up right over here is that laetris that I planted, those little bulbs that I got a special package on sale, but it's supposed to have 3 different things in them and 2 of each thing except the laetris, which there were supposed to be 10 of. So I think this is what I got out of the whole package, but it's still not a bad deal for $3. This is a chocolate plant with petunias and purple heart, and my little turtle on the swing there. This green and orange daylily, which I had several of those blooming today. Also the spider daylily in yellow, which I really love this one. And then again, I'm going back right over here to another one of the screaming orange daylilies. This is 2 blooming together there. And then there's another one. I also noticed that my mammoth deal has a little caterpillar on there. Enjoy the supper. More daylilies. Still more daylilies. I noticed that I have a lot of shades of orange. I do have a few of the other colors, like the yellow, the purple or deep mauve, and this is a pretty little pale peach. And while most of the daylilies are closing for the day, this one is beginning to open for tomorrow. And this little clematis is looking pretty today. I'm hoping this will be one that will bloom most of the summer. Most of mine just bloom in spring, and then that's about it, and then a little showing in the fall sometimes. But I know there are some that last longer. This is kind of new, so I'm hoping it will last a little bit longer, but we'll see. Here's a pretty little pink bee balm or monarda that's blooming, and I have also had a little bit of purple and then a whole bunch of the Jacob Klein maroon colored bee balm or monarda. And I see I also have one of those little lilies back here that I also have in front. Of course I would put one in both places because it's one of my favorites. So I'm getting ready to say goodnight to the garden. I got mosquito bites on me and I'm swatting at mosquitoes as we go. So it's been a really good day though. It's always nice to have visitors in the garden, have them enjoy the garden with me. And learn about new things. Actually, I learned the name of my little tree that my mother gave me and I had planted. I was telling you that it draws the butterflies and has little white blooms, and I've already forgotten what the name of it was. But the next time I see her, I will ask again and I will write it down. My little calabachoas are still looking so scraggly. This one's so scraggly you can't even see the color on it. But that petunia on the other side there is looking good. And another little scraggly calabachoa, but it's not dead yet. It could take off and go. It could. We'll see. It's not holding much promise, is it? This one back here is certainly not. Oh, it looks so bad. I'm going to have to clip some of that dead stuff off and hope and pray for it. Here's the purple bee balm I was telling you about. I almost forgot to show that to you. And then the last of the calabachoa is down here too, which is a pretty purple, but whether or not it will ever get a pretty enough showing, we'll just have to wait and see. But it still could. I'm still hoping. Oh, and I was going for the Jacob Klein monarda, which I may have already shown you this morning in the front, because I have a little cluster of it in the front as well as in the back. But while I was on my way, I had to look one more time at this little bush right here. This is called a button bush, or when I ordered mine it was called a sugar shack bush. But isn't that pretty? I love a globe of any sort, and this is just so cute. So here's the Jacob Klein bee balm, and I think this is the only one actually in bloom. The others are just getting really close, but they're not quite in bloom yet. The ones in front, however, there's a lot of them blooming. I always think it looks like a carnation with a spiked hairdo. These are right in my path, and I cleaned out all the other stuff that was right in my path, or most of it. And but I left this because when I trim it back, I'm going to try to transplant it somewhere. It's just so pretty to me. I love the color of this yarrow. And when Aaron was here, I was telling him this is my little water garden, and I have cattails in it. And then I looked up, and guess what? I have a cattail right here, and I didn't even know it was there. I figured they would bloom this year. They didn't last year because I had transplanted them, and I just got rid of a whole bunch of them because they were taking over the whole water garden, and I'll probably have to do that again before long. But it's nice to have them back in the garden and blooming again. And here's where I put my tiny little on sale scraggly looking tomato that's supposed to have the yellow cherry tomatoes on it. So we'll see what will become of it. It might get a big beautiful plant full of lots of tomatoes. Wouldn't that be great? So I wanted to show you that I do have lots more of the bee balm Monarda blooming in the front than I do in the back, and it's looking good today. And now I really am going to call it a night. Go back to that pretty first flower of the day that we showed you. Looks like there's going to be, this one will be gone of course, but it looks like this one's going to open up. Beginning to crack open.